Weird mutations. Something must have gone extremely wrong with the DNA of this octopus that was found with 85 tentacles in Japan. Snowflake was an albino gorilla that used to live at Barcelona Zoo in Spain. Sadly, he was euthanized in 2003 after being diagnosed with a rare form of skin cancer, likely as a result of his condition. He was the world's only known albino gorilla. Ulnar dimelia, aka mirror hand, is an extremely rare developmental condition of the hand. It is characterized by the absence of the radius, duplication of the ulna, and symmetrical polydactyly, aka 7 or 8 fingers and no thumb. Less than 75 confirmed cases have been reported in medical literature to date. Ancient discoveries. The internet went absolutely nuts when archaeologists discovered a 1500-year-old Mongolian mummy that was wearing boots resembling red Adidas trainers. A 3-year-old British boy playing around with his father's metal detector discovered a 16th century golden pendant, estimated to be worth around $4 million. This is the facial reconstruction of a 9,000-year-old skeleton that was found in a cave in Cheddar, England, and he was nicknamed Cheddar Man. His DNA was tested, and it was concluded that a living relative was teaching history only a half a mile away from the site, linking back 300 generations. Weird mutations. This is what a broken iris looks like. This usually happens as a result of something whipping into your eye, causing a bruise or tear in the iris. This is what a hairless chimpanzee looks like. Now you know why having a pet chimpanzee is a dumb idea. An extremely rare blonde seal was recently found in the South Georgia Islands. This is what happens when a genetic mutation in a starfish causes it to grow one less limb, resulting in it looking like a pillow. Ancient discoveries. An Argentinian farmer found 4 20,000-year-old fossilized glyptodons on his property. Glyptodons were a species of armadillo that were the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. You might remember these guys from Ice Age the movie. This 2,500-year-old artifact was found in Istanbul, and many believe it to depict a modern-day space capsule. This iron helmet, dating back to the 10th century, was discovered in Norway in 1943. It is the only complete Viking helmet ever found, and against popular opinion, there was never any proof that Vikings wore horns on their helmets. Ancient discoveries. If you had to guess how long ago this elephant died, what would you say? If your answer was 42,000 years, you'd be correct. Lyuba is an incredibly preserved woolly mammoth calf that was found in Russian permafrost. With her skin and internal organs still fully intact, Lyuba is by far the best preserved woolly mammoth mummy ever found. This is King Tut's 3,300-year-old iron dagger and golden sheath. Discovered in 1925, the dagger's blade was made from a meteorite. In 2001, the Taliban used dynamite to demolish this 4th century Buddha statue that was carved in Afghanistan. While initially devastating, it was found that the explosions had revealed 50 caves that were untouched for 1,600 years. Inside the caves, researchers uncovered some ancient Buddhist relics, including the oldest oil paintings in the world. Weird crime facts. In 1967, 15-year-old James Gordon Wolcott shot and killed his mother, father, and older sister after sniffing airplane glue. After being diagnosed with schizophrenia, he spent only 7 years at a psychiatric hospital before being released back into the public. Today, he is an award-winning psychology professor and the head of Millikan University's Behavioral Science Department. Ancient discoveries. This is what a fully unearthed Easter Island head looks like. Yep, contrary to popular opinion, all of the statues have bodies. The torsos have just become partially buried as a result of hundreds of years of erosion. Although this gecko looks like it could still be alive, it's been trapped in amber for right around 54 million years. This 20,000-year-old cave painting found in South America is believed to depict a giant ground sloth. These massive sloths grew to around 20 feet in height, but were hunted to extinction by humans about 12,000 years ago. Ancient discoveries. The cave lion has been extinct for over 13,000 years, but this cub looks like it could have died yesterday. Frozen in time thanks to Russian permafrost, this specimen might be as many as 50,000 years old. And experts say it has great potential for cloning in the future. This is what ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics looked like before the colors faded over time. A massive 1700-year-old Roman mosaic was uncovered by city workers who were performing sewer construction in Israel. The incredibly detailed mural is believed to have served as the living room floor for a wealthy family during the Byzantine period. Weird nature facts. The short-faced bear was once the most abundant bear in all of North America, until it went extinct around 11,000 BC. Some scientists argue that these massive bears delayed human migration into North America because they kept killing men trying to cross the Bering Strait. The Gu Lagoon. This is an underwater river in Mexico's Cenote Angelita. The different densities of the two waters cause them to form in layers. The black swallower is a deep-sea fish that can swallow animals more than 10 times its own mass, thanks to its expansive stomach. This 7-inch swallower was found dead after it swallowed and failed to digest a 34-inch mackerel. Weird nature facts. If you were to swim near a pod of narwhals and happen to hear one whistle, it might be the last thing that you ever heard. The sounds that narwhals make are so loud that they're said to be deafening to humans. Visiting the island of Socotra in Yemen can seem like you're on another planet. More than 30% of the plant life on the island isn't found anywhere else on Earth. Villagers along the Niger River in Zimbabwe were losing cows and people at such an alarming rate that they had to call in the National Army. The culprit? A 22-foot, 2,500-pound monster crocodile. Ancient discoveries. Say hello to Chimera arachne, a prehistoric relative of the spider with a spiky tail. This specimen was frozen in amber right around 100 million years ago. This 2,000-year-old Roman shoe was found inside of a well in an ancient fortress in modern-day Germany. The Temple of Bak Se Cham Rong in Cambodia, and the Mayan Temple of the Great Jaguar in Guatemala were built within a few hundred years of each other and are nearly identical in construction. But there's only one problem. They were built nearly 9,000 miles apart from each other, long before global communication had been established. Weird nature facts. These are what the vestigial limbs of a beluga whale look like. When sailors first explored the Arctic waters, they understandably mistook beluga whales for real-life mermaids. These are what the muscles look like on a fully grown male Siberian tiger. This rare orchid, known as the flower of the Holy Spirit, only blooms once per year. It looks like a group of praying saints before blooming, but once it blooms, it turns into a flying dove. Ancient discoveries. This Viking sword was found by reindeer hunters at a high altitude in the mountains of Norway. It may have belonged to a Viking who lost his way and died here around 1100 years ago. This 6-foot-long monster megalodon tooth was found off the coast of North Carolina. The North Carolina coast happens to be a known hotspot for prehistoric megalodon tooth findings. This good boy is named Dogor, and he's more than 18,000 years old. Found in Siberian permafrost, he's so well preserved that his whiskers and nose are still mostly intact. Weird nature facts. Wildlife officials highly advise against feeding a wild moose. This is because if you feed a moose, it might become aggressive and attack the next person it encounters if they have no food to offer. The colors on a toucan's beak remain unchanged for many years after the bird's death. A little girl in Seattle became friends with a group of crows that she feeds in exchange for gifts. The items they bring her are typically shiny and have included pieces of glass, buttons, and even lost jewelry. This is one of the first cases of wild birds displaying gift-giving behavior to humans. Ancient discoveries. A group of archaeologists discovered this bird claw while digging down a cave in New Zealand. Later on, they confirmed that it was the 3,300-year-old foot of a moa bird, which went extinct around 700 years ago. Oh no, someone's getting cursed. This power line in England happened to be laid straight through the skull of an Anglo-Saxon woman who was buried in a previously undiscovered graveyard from the 6th century. This ancient Aztec combat sword, known as the Macahuitl, was made out of wood and obsidian rocks. Obsidian is 12 times sharper than surgical steel, as this sword could decapitate not only a man with one strike, but also a horse. Weird nature facts. This isn't what you think it is. This is the carnivorous pitcher plant from the genus Nepenthes. The top acts as a lid for the lower pitcher structure, which traps and drowns insects in a syrupy fluid. Real classy, Mother Nature. This is a bull born without the protein myostatin, allowing for unrestricted muscle growth. In 2010, there was a massive flood in Pakistan that forced millions of spiders to climb up trees and build webs to avoid the rising waters. People claim that if you happen to stand under any of these trees, hundreds of tiny little spiders would fall all over your body. Weird mutations. Venus is a 1 in a billion cat whose face is half black and half red tabby. Veterinarians have argued whether Venus is a chimera or if her split face is just pure genetic luck. This octopus had a genetic mutation that gave it 96 tentacles instead of 8. A family of people with blue skin lived in Kentucky for many generations. They were known as the Blue Fugates, or the Blue People of Kentucky. They are thought to have gained their blue skin through a combination of inbreeding and a rare genetic condition known as methemoglobinemia. Weird nature facts. The harpy eagle is considered to be the largest and most powerful bird in the rainforest. Its rear talons can grow up to 4 inches long, about the same size as a grizzly bear's claws. It's certainly no mistake that this majestic bird is literally named after a mythological monster. This is what a baby swordfish looks like on someone's fingertip. This little guy will grow to be over 1,000 pounds one day. Calathris archeri, aka the devil's fingers, might look like a creature with tentacles upon first glance, but it's actually a fungus. It is also known as the octopus stinkhorn because it smells of rotting flesh. In its early stages, it looks like an alien emerging out of a pod, and many people have mistakenly reported it as such. Weird crime facts. The young man on the left broke into his neighbor's house wielding a knife and threatened to kill the old man. But 72-year-old Frank Cordy happened to be a former boxing champion, and he gave the burglar a lawful beatdown. The Antwerp diamond heist in 2003 was one of the biggest robberies in history. A Belgian man stole $100 million in diamonds after bypassing 10 levels of high security. He had almost gotten away with it, but was convicted via DNA evidence on a salami sandwich that he'd left near the crime scene. Ancient discoveries. In 2011, 2 miners in Alberta, Canada accidentally stumbled upon a 110 million-year-old mummified dinosaur. The fossilized specimen, which was identified as a type of nodosaur, is so well preserved that its skin and scales are still completely intact. In its heyday, it would have looked something like this guy. Scientists say that it's likely the closest thing to a real-life dinosaur that humans have ever seen. In 1963, a Turkish man found a strange cave after he knocked down a wall in his home. Further digging revealed access to a complex tunnel system with more cave-like rooms. He had discovered the ancient underground city of Derinkuyu, built during the Byzantine period. Experts say the ancient city could have housed more than 20,000 people during its peak over 1,000 years ago. Weird nature facts. This is a snapping turtle buried in mud just after emerging from hibernation. This is where the Native American legend of the earth being brought into existence and carried on the shell of a turtle originated from. Alligators have been a long-running problem for NASA, as there have been multiple incidents of alligators climbing over NASA's fences and entering buildings overnight. Dolphins can identify humans by checking our skeletal structure through their sonar. They have been known to help shipwreck victims fight off sharks and stay afloat, because as mammals, they understand the concept of drowning. Weird crime facts. In 1980, autistic savant Mark DeFriest was sentenced to 4 years in prison after quote-unquote stealing tools left to him in his father's will. However, his original sentence has since developed into 34 years after 13 escape attempts, 7 of which were successful. Known as the Houdini of Florida, DeFriest could replicate any key by memorizing their pattern and reconstructing them out of anything available. Serial rapist Billy Milligan had a mental disorder that split his mind into at least 24 different personalities. Each personality featured a different speech pattern, accent, and sitting position. He was famously acquitted in court due to the claim that 2 of his alternate personalities had committed the crimes without Milligan being aware of it.